business to create like this environment of diversity, equity. And this issue itself has kind of crept up in our public school system a lot, with the integration of queer theory in the public school system, with we have some schools in Michigan that have made it their business to create like this environment of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But the brand of diversity, equity, and inclusion that they're creating has created a hostile environment for religious practice within the school and religious expression within the school by pitting one group's rights against another's group's rights. And we're not here to do that. We're here to ensure the rights of everybody, right? So everybody has their rights. So we see this issue creeping up a lot in our public school system. We are afraid with the passage of this bill that it will creep up in our organizational structures, in the way that our private schools are able to conduct themselves, and the way that our Muslim foster care agency is able to conduct business in the state of Michigan, with the ways that our homeless shelters and our soup kitchens and our other social services aspects are able to conduct business. So I believe, and we've done some research with some other people, and Care Michigan believes, along with some other religious groups that have done the policy and the legal research, that there are provisions of this bill that could be struck down as unconstitutional, including that provision that requires that covenant. We've seen that with anti-BDS legislation and things like that, where around the country anti-BDS legislation is being struck down. So we believe that the covenant requiring that's the antithesis of free speech, right? That is forced speech. And we believe that that provision specifically is likely unconstitutional, and we're standing ready and willing to challenge those provisions, which we believe are unconstitutional. And we are standing ready to provide legal defense to any institution or organization that is at risk or has the threat of losing contracts or not being able to obtain contracts with the government as it relates to the state of Michigan because of the provisions of the ELCRA that would prohibit that. I mean, I just think it's important for people to realize we are asking the Michigan legislature to add in language that has already been adopted by the courts. The language we're asking for and the requirements or the provisions that we're asking for have already been adopted by the courts as being reasonable accommodations, reasonable religious expression. And we want it added in simply for the fact that we don't want to have to litigate this in court. We don't have to, once again, go back to court and litigate over our religious freedoms that have already been afforded to us because there's a bill that comes along and is now challenging it when it could be preempted from the beginning.